All right, here's the review for your test coming up. It says if a given function has an inverse f, it's supposed to be f inverse with a little -1 of x, which of the following statements is true? If x of y is on f of x, so it says that on all four of these answer choices, then the graph of f inverse x must contain, and so remember, when you do an inverse of xy, inverse is when you switch x and y. So now it's going to become y and x. So the answer is C. xy becomes yx. They just switch. Okay. Number 2. Given 5x minus 3, what is the inverse function? So remember, first of all, this becomes a y, and you switch x and y. So you have x equals 5y minus 3. You get rid of the loner first, adding 3. X plus 3 equals 5y. Last step is you get rid of the 5, and this is where you don't want to mess up. The whole thing gets divided by 5. Okay? The whole thing. So now it's just the inverse is x plus 3 in the numerator divided by big fraction 5 in the denominator. It's got to be C. Okay? Those are the distractors. This one only divides the first term. This has a minus sign, and then this is just wrong. So number 3, same thing. Okay, let's find the inverse of a quadratic. So again, this is y. You switch x and y. So x equals y minus 3 squared plus 7. Let's get rid of that loner plus 7. Minus 7 first. Scratch this out. So now we have x minus 7 equals y minus 3 squared. Now, what do you get rid of first, the minus 3 or the squared? And since there's parentheses, you got to get rid of that squared first by doing a big old square root over the whole thing, right? So the square and the square root cancel out. Now I have this minus 3 to get rid of. And how do I get rid of minus 3? Plus 3. After this square root sign, there's going to be a plus 3. Do not add it to the minus 7 because it is after the square root. So f inverse of x equals the square root of x minus 7. Then it ends, and then there's a plus 3. So it is not C, it is A. X minus 7 is underneath, plus 3 is after. Okay? Another one. This is supposed to be y. Switch x and y. X equals y squared plus 1. Since there's no parentheses, we want to get rid of the loner. Opposite of plus is minus 1. X minus 1 equals y squared. And then how do we get rid of a squared? Square root. Square root. Inverse of x is square root x minus 1. And then the best answer is C, x minus 1. Okay. Another one. Inverse. So if this is y, and we switch x and y, x equals 9y minus 4. To solve for y, get rid of the loner first. The opposite of minus 4 is plus 4. X plus 4 equals 9y. Opposite of 9 in front as a coefficient is dividing the whole thing by 9. The inverse of x is x plus 4 over 9. X plus 4 divided by 9. It's got to be letter D. All right, the graph of the function is below. Which of the following graphs represent the graph of the inverse? So this is a graph. So we need to take that graph and get ourselves a table of values. So we got x, we got y. This right here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 5, 0. This right here is negative 1, negative 2. This right here is 3, negative 4. And that's good. Now, the inverse is going to take that table and it's going to do what? Flip x and y. 0, negative 5. Negative 2, negative 1. Negative 4, positive 3. So let's start off with just the first point. 0, negative 5. 0, negative 5, no. 0, negative 5, yes. 0, negative 5, no. 0, negative 5, no. That's a no, no, no. So, I mean, it's got to be B. But let's check these other points. Negative 2, negative 1, yes, sir. Negative 4, positive 3, yes, sir. Cha-ching! Okay, so you have to flip the order of the x and y values, and it's going to be symmetrical across the diagonal line, y equals x. What's the inverse of this function? Okay, well, again, this is y, and then you switch x and y, so x equals the square root of y. Now, what's the opposite of a square root? Squared. And you square both sides. So the inverse of x equals x squared, which is letter B. Square and square root are opposites. They cancel each other out. Okay? So opposite of that square root is a square. Okay, couple more here. The graphs of two inverse functions reflect over the line. So whenever you have a graph, okay, the functions will be, hold on. Okay, let's do this. Okay. Whenever you have two functions, they're going to reflect across this diagonal line, which is y equals x. Okay. It was in our notes. You got to know that. Lines reflect over y equals x, the diagonal line. Okay. It's the diagonal y equals x. Okay. Number 10, the graph below. What are the intercepts? Okay, well, let's find out. 0, negative 4 is on my y-axis. So y-axis 0, negative 4. So far could be A or C. Then my x-axis is here at 6, comma 0. 6, comma 0, not 0, comma 6. So yes and yes. So don't get mixed up, like literally x and y. Don't get them mixed up. Okay. A skate park increases its price once a year to adjust for inflation. The table below shows the entrance prices have changed over time. Which of the following equations expresses the scenario where x represents how many years since opening and y represents the cost? So we got to be able to find the rate of change. So there's a few ways to do this. You can do the bird beaks on the side and find out how much it's increasing by. Looks like it's adding 3, adding 3, adding 3. And since the other side is adding 1 each time, this number is going to be your M. And then whenever x is 0, this y value is your B. So y equals mx plus b is going to be 3x plus 10. And that's got to be C. However, I want you to know how to get this easy in your calculator. So you go to Desmos, you hit the plus sign to add a table. You just type it in 0, 1, 2, 3, 10, 13, 16, 19. Okay. And then this little magic button right here, add regression, it'll start off linear and it'll tell you 3x plus 10. The last one's number 12. What is the vertex of the function? If you got a quadratic, you should definitely graph that thing. So f of x equals 5x plus 8 squared minus 1. The vertex is right here where it changes directions. You just click it, it'll tell you -8, -1. So you want graph and click that vertex. Drag the correct numbers. Okay. Inverse of a table. When you do inverse of a table, you're just switching that x and that y. So 1, 9 is going to flip to be 9, 1. 2, 4 is going to flip to be 4, 2. And 3, 1 is going to flip to be 1, 3. That is your inverse table. So make sure you finish this whole review, study it, and be ready for that test coming up.